Well, well, well. Hey everybody, my name is DJ Dan, and welcome to Soulful House Nation. And my special guests today are the one and only Dawn Tallman and her manager, Glenn Thornton. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's get started right away. And I just need both of you to kind of tell us a little bit about you.
Well, ladies first.
Absolutely.
Well, queens first, you
That's
know.
right.
Okay, no. My name is Dawn Tallman. I'm a recording artist, songwriter, mom. I'm all those things. But started out as a young kid singing since I was about 1 year old.
Wow.
And started out singing in church, and the whole story. You go off and try to do some other stuff and sing, and it's a long story. I'm here now. Okay. No, I've just been singing my whole life. Starting from church and later going out doing some R&B, and then gospel is always, of course, the foundation. Mm-hmm. I still sing in church now, but. And then later on got into house music, and it was history from there.
Okay. And Glenn, how about you?
Well, I always wanted to do music and had to figure out a way to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, technology came along, and that really opened the door for all of what I wanted to do to make ideas and dreams come to fruition. So
wow.
I started out doing music, actually writing, handwriting notes, and learning theory and all that. And finally, the technology came along where I could start really pursuing music. And since I was a club head and a club person for all of the time that I could go out to a club, that was kind of like the natural order of things for me to do dance and house.
Okay. Now, a lot of people sang in church, but a lot of people should have left it just around friends and family and maybe in the shower.
Indeed.
Some people need to go that deep.
Right.
Now, but at what point did you know you had a gift and something was special about what you were doing?
Well, my mother, she said, when I was about 1 year old, I used to stand in front of the TV and sing all the commercials on TV.
Oh, wow.
All the, whatever had, songs in it, I was standing and rocking back and forth and would sing everything on TV. And she said she knew then that there was something special, but I knew it really didn't hit me till I was about 5. And I did my first concert when I was 5 years old at this church. And I saw all these faces out there. Of course, I'm 5, so it looks like it's a million people out there, but they were all smiling and so happy. And I'm singing, and I'm like, wow, this is where I want to be. This is something I want to do. If I'm singing and I'm seeing the joy that I'm, bringing to these people, and they're smiling, and it's some tears and stuff like that, this is what I want to do. Like, I knew it then.
Yeah. Along those lines, who were some of your earlier influences?
Now, I grew up a little different. I mean, there was gospel there, but my dad was a Nat King Cole, Johnny Mathis type of dude. So we kind of grew up with the Nat King Cole, the Johnny Mathis, I listened to opera. I mean, it was kind of eclectic. Country, I mean, there was all kinds of music that, but I do remember a lot of Johnny Mathis and like Natalie Cole and all these, that kind of music. Ella Fitzgerald, like, so it was kind of like jazzy, gospel-y, and a little bit of R&B, because my mother, she liked Teddy Pendergrass. Okay. So I heard a lot of that. Okay. It was like, I can't really like pinpoint like a one person. It was just very eclectic, and that's what I loved about it. Just wasn't one thing. It was a lot. So it made me appreciate all kinds of music, because I heard it all, Yeah.
Well, Glenn, you too have a varied background too with music. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and tell us some of the different things that you listen to. And
Well, I listen, quiet as it's kept, so it won't be quiet anymore. I'm actually a musical theater person.
Okay.
So I really like, I like a good old show tune.
Okay, all right.
Because the writers of American musical theater, they really stretch lyrical content as well as melodic content. They get a chance to write from basically A to Z. They don't have to stay in any one particular space because the song tells the story. And sometimes the story tells the songs, and you can do whatever you want and stretch it out. But I got into that as time went on, but I first started, and I guess the first thing that turned me out was when I heard Isaac Hayes.
Okay.
So I was called an Isaac Hayes freak. If he made it, I own it somewhere. And I also was very influenced by, the soul R&B music of the era that I grew up in, which is before the 70s.
Okay.
When I first started hearing, like Wilson Pickett and Sam Cooke, as well as there was jazz stuff, because my father would listen to Quincy Jones. And then I really got into, in the early 70s, as I expanded past Isaac Hayes, I really got into jazz fusion. So I was really into Billy Cobham, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Miles Davis with the Bitches Brew album when he became electronic. And then it became disco.
Okay.
We did early R&B. It became, there was soul in the 60s.
Right.
It was R&B in the 70s, and R&B had 3 tempos.
Okay.
Slow, medium, and fast. And once it got fast enough, then folks said, oh, that sounds like, let's just call this disco, because that's what they're playing in the disco. So I really was influenced by that. Strings, horns, the long form.
I want you to hold on to that thought about electronic, because I got a question I want to ask you with that. Well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DJ Dan, and you are watching Soulful House Nation. Our special guests today are Dawn Tallman and Glenn Thornton. Okay, listen, let's get back here. How did you guys meet?
Dawn.
Okay, this is a funny story.
Okay.
So, umpteen years ago.
Okay.
Well, how many was that? About 20?
Yep.
About 20 years ago. Ken Terry, he was looking for a vocalist, and DJ Ken Terry recommended me. Fast forward, so I go to the studio and I meet him. At the time, he was producing someone, and he wanted me to come in and do backgrounds. And I'm all professional and everything. And so we meet. I'm in there, and the people are in there singing, and I'm just kind of got my eyebrows up. I don't want to intrude, but I said to him, excuse me, sir. I didn't know him. I said, I'm not trying to take over your session, but can I just go in here and just, do the vocals, because, time is money, money, you kind of, and he was like, go ahead. So I kindly just had everybody leave the room. And in about 15 minutes, the whole song was done. Well, at least the backgrounds were. Okay. And, of course, he was impressed by that. And just from that moment on, we just became, friends. And then we started working together. And it's been 20 years. We're writing partners. We've written over 50 songs.
Wow.
And, of course, we worked together for so long. He became my manager. It started as me, being on his label. But, we're family. He knows my family. I know his family. And I trust him. He got my back. I got his. And so he, he's managing me now. And it's I always say, when you have one person that supports you, run with it.
Run with it.
Yep.
Now, as a manager, what do you do as a manager?
I do not do bookings.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
I'm not a
That's
booking
not his
manager.
job,
Okay.
right.
So really, in the capacity of manager, it is someone who helps guide and consult and nurture and advise and keeper of the secrets.
Okay.
It's like,
Because it's
No,
the trust between two
Yeah,
folk,
right.
the two
Right.
people has to be of the highest level.
Right,
So
right.
that you can feel, the artist can feel very comfortable that there is someone that, besides having their back, is
Of course.
in their corner to having their best interests at heart and at the forefront. So someone that can come in and say, I understand what you want to do or how you approach, but this might not be where you want to go at this point to get to where you want to get to later on over here. So how do we strategize that? What do we think about? with that, you know, how do we make that happen? How do we position ourselves with contacts and with networking and with the way we behave when we're out in public?
Okay.
And the way we choose projects to work on, so that we show our professionalism and we show that we are thinking about where we're getting to, as opposed to just, I'm just doing a track because I need to do a track right now.
Yeah, and not being a yes man. Because, you know, you can have people around you who, just because of who you are, is like, okay, well, you know, and he sees the potential, you know, past just being, he'll tell me, darling, no, you know, that's not it. Listen, we've had to have some real conversations about, you know, there's certain points in, you know, my career, my life, or whatever, and as a manager, he'll tell me the truth. That tough love, give it to you whether I want to hear it or not, but because it's coming from him, it might be kind of tough, but I know that he has my best interest and he wants to see me as well as him go further. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of people you need. You need people in your life that are going to see you for not where you are, but see you for where you're going, you know?
Yes.
And when it really happens, as it does for us, then everybody around just sees the relationship and the two folks together as a bond that can't be broken.
Right.
So it's about protecting each other too.
Absolutely.
You know.
Now, you already mentioned that you write and you produce also. Do you work with other artists? You sort of mentioned that, and I'm just wondering, are there any artists that you would like to work with that maybe you haven't worked with?
You talking about me?
Yes.
Start with you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I have co-produced stuff and worked with, worked with artists, Josh Milan.
Sure.
I worked with Michelle Weeks. I've done, a few people. Done Barbara Tucker. You know, like a lot of. It's more people than that. I've also. I do a lot of backgrounds for a lot of people don't know, for a lot of smooth jazz artists.
Oh, really?
I was on a Grammy-nominated project with Peebo Bryson did the lead. I did backgrounds with Gerald Albright.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
I've been on 3 or 4 of Phil Perry's albums.
Okay.
Mesa, I've done 4 projects of hers. Shantae Moore. I mean, the list goes on. So I'm not just, I'm a singer, so I do it all. So. This producer named Chris Big Dog Davis, who's out of Connecticut, who does all the smooth jazz stuff. I work with him a lot and do a lot of smooth jazz stuff. And I said Josh Milan, we work together. We're working on an album right now, so completing it, and yeah.
Okay.
I've worked with several folks because as the label owner, I want to have projects that I can release as part of the catalog.
Right.
Some of those projects I've worked with a person is more of a executive getting it out, and then there are folks where I've done 2 albums of my own under my own name, and I've had Dawn sing on it as well as a Jerido, and I have a new record out with this young lady named Miss Patty called Feel the Fire.
Okay.
And Feel My Fire,
Feel My
rather.
Fire.
Feel my thing. Okay.
And we wrote that together and put that together. So there's different folks I've worked with, but if I could work with someone that I haven't worked with yet, I'm not quite sure. It was very nice to work with someone that is maybe has some theater background, some Broadway training.
Okay.
You know, if I had a dream of who to do something with and turn it into house,
Okay.
I guess maybe my first thought would be Audra McDonald.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's come back to the whole house thing. In my opinion, house has not gotten the love, and I've said this to Dawn also, house has not gotten the love as it deserves. Now, to me, it's treated like the stepdog, when really all the house stuff that you hear now originated from the original sound, the Soulful House. Why do you think that is? What can we do about it?
Well, the house that you hear, there's house and variations of house.
Exactly.
So one of the things, now I have to get political, so hold on.
Okay, all right.
One of the things that happens is that when, I'll just tell it straight, a lot of times what happens is black folks create something, and then it becomes watered down so it can be sold to what someone believes are the masses. So you took house and it was soulful and it was spiritual, and it was a lot of vocals. And then, well, I don't think these European kids are going to like this, so we have to take as much soul out of it as possible and make the voices a lot lighter. And then we started getting into, let's make the instrumentation less and less, and then it became to what they sold as EDM, which was basically a bunch of noise. It was like, if you go back to the beginning of electronic music, there was pink noise and white noise, and bzz, 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 and it became that. So once those kids get tired of that, and they always do, they have to find what's going to be new and what's going to excite them. So it will at some point come back to vocals and soul, but not necessarily the way it was the first time around. So a lot of times we who do house music and soulful house music from New Jersey, New York, the United States, we're looking and expecting and hoping that it's going to come back to that. No, it's not going to come back to that. It's going to come back to something, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be where all of a sudden that the record that Dawn did in 1990 whatever is going to be, oh, we got to play that on the radio. It's, you know, Dawn can and probably will get opportunity, but it's going to be her singing the way she does with somebody else's interpretation of what that is. You know, some young person that comes along, or maybe even some older person, you know, like me, you know, because the world is completely open. There are no rules. And I think part of the problem that we have in soulful house music or in Jersey is we keep thinking of these rules. As opposed to going outside of them and around them. For instance, since I'm at this point, Dawn and I, with a young man named Marco Nobles, came up with an idea of a show called Dawn Tallman's House Unplugged. And what that did was take Dawn performing originally with just a keyboard and some percussion in like a cafe setting, like, you know, MTV had that unplugged stuff. So it was just her and that one musician, and they took those boomsy, boomsy, U-R-Y, all those songs, and dropped the tempo down and stripped them down to where it was just a voice and a keyboard, and all of a sudden what you heard was R&B, soul. So instead of boom, boom, U-R-Y, it became, you know, well, you can sing it, but it slowed it down, and all of a sudden now you're really hearing the song. So let's go that way, because it's still what we do. Now we take it unto ourselves, and we take our own ownership of it instead of waiting for the people who capitalized off of it to give it back to us.
You know, one little thought I would like to add, and then kind of like, I think now as you would have had to be on another planet to have not heard of Black Panther movie. And they had mostly an all African American cast. And this has been a blockbuster movie, and this is probably one of the first times, if not the first time, that some majors had bet so heavily on an African American cast. And I think in the past, they were afraid to do it because they perceived that it might not be accepted by quote unquote the masses. But it has been, and then in Europe, where we don't, as African Americans, we don't exist like we do here, it's gone over big. In my opinion, I think that's one of the problems too with Soulful House, and I think you kind of alluded it to, is that they don't believe, the people who can pull big money and move big money around, that the audience will accept it or the masses will accept it, and I beg to differ, but that's just my opinion.
I don't think it's so much that they don't believe that it'll make money. I really believe it's their own greed that I'm going to make sure that I keep it and you can't have it. Because you know, the only reason you got this idea is because we created it. You sure didn't. I haven't seen you creating. You didn't create I'm a Soul Man. You didn't create Love is the Message. So you got it. You saw, this is good. Let's snatch this and run over here to Italy and spread it around and keep it for ourselves and make sure that you folks who created it, come on over and sing that one song and then get back on that plane and get out of here. And we'll pay you X amount of dollars. But the person who brought you over, believe me, they're not getting 10% or 5% or 20%.
I mean, I think, Soulful House is not going anywhere. I totally understand what you're saying. Why isn't it so mainstream? But I mean, it's definitely always going to be here because we're here, and but I also do know that this is a business. For me, personally, for me, it's a business. And of course, Soulful House is my foundation, but I also know that there's other genres out there as well. And I'm a singer, so I'm going to expand myself to be in different markets. Just like 2 years ago, Bob Sinclair, who's a humongous DJ, we collaborated together on a song called Feel the Vibe. And of course, it was humongous. It was #1 in Italy for 3 months. I got a chance to perform in front of 250,000 people and travel all over the world in private jets and just being just, you know, it was beautiful. And so we had an opportunity, Slag Records, to license the song here in the United States exclusively, and it went #1 on Billboard. And although the music may have been a little more commercial, it was still soulful. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
The beat may be a little harder and a little more staccato, but the voice is still soulful.
Right.
So I feel like I'm still carrying Soulful House no matter what genre it is. Dawn Tallman, the queen of gospel energy, is still spreading Soulful House. Do you know?
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
for me, you know, I took that opportunity, and you know, we had no idea that the song was going to be so huge. And not only did, you know, that crowd there embrace it, even the soul community, house community embraced it because there was soulful vocals. You know.
So let's say right now, I guess both of you could jump in on this next question. Like, where do you want to take your career, and like if you had career goals or whatever, where do you want to take this?
I'll be honest right now.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just trying to finish this album. It's been like 3 years. I think more. You know, I mean, you know, it's life. Things happen.
Right.
And I'm just really trying to. Of course, we all want to be great, and we all want to, you know. But really, this is for me. I want all of that, but it's really a gift that God has given me. Right. And I just love to sing and bless people with, you know, my voice and the music. So I just, you know, right now I want to finishing up the album, but I just want to be able to continue to do what I do and bless people with, you know, with my voice and with my music.
All right. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to finish up. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ Dan, and you are watching Soulful House Nation. We'll be back in a few moments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is DJ Dan, and you are watching Soulful House Nation. I have my very special guests. Welcome back, Dawn Tallman and Glenn Thornton. Okay. Hey, Glenn, I just wanted to pick up a little bit, and then I want to come back and ask Dawn a question. All right. You have the label, and it's called Swag Records, correct? Slag. I'm sorry, I said Slag. S-L-A-G.
S-L-A-A-G.
That's what I said. S-L-A-A-g. Okay.
Please.
That's right. Okay. All right. So anyway, so here's my question. Where do you want to go with Slag Records? And how did that name come about that I just screwed up?
Right. Well, first, Slag Records came about because there was a movie years ago called Alienation, and the derogatory word for those aliens in the movie were slags.
Oh, okay.
And they were, you know, they were basically like the slaves and black folks, and you know, they were just downtrodden and beat down and all that kind of stuff. But they were very smart. They were very fast. They had a lot of attributes that were sometimes superior. So from that, since I liked the movie, I always thought of the whole idea of making something out of nothing. These people were beat down, but they still rose up above their circumstances, and that's what we as black folks do with our creativity and our intelligence and our energy and our spirituality, is we make something out of nothing, which is why there is now the United States. There was something and it was nothing.
Right.
We did that. So as a result, that's where Slag Records came from. And then when I've also learned in a couple of different languages what slag means, it worked out very well. Like in Dutch, it means somebody knock you upside the head. And that's what we do with the music. It's like it's a beat down.
Okay.
Yep.
In Great Britain, it means like a low down, dirty woman.
Okay.
So
okay.
you know, it can be derogatory, but I like the Dutch one where it means slap.
Okay.
But I like my version where it means making something out of nothing, hence the logo where it starts here and it swirls out and becomes Slag Records. So what I want to do next and I want to do more of is keep releasing records that get heard in larger venues that the dream is to go to radio. Where like on a Sirius XM dance channel, I'm riding in the car and I hear a release or releases that are on my label. I'd also like to see a Grammy nomination in Best Dance Song and Best Dance Album category come out. And I would also like to see music that's from my catalog that I've been involved with appear in a video game, a movie, a TV show, a commercial. While you're riding in the elevator in the Gap store, or in Macy's, or one of those cute little Italian restaurants, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'd like to see it expand beyond just like internet radio and DJs to it becoming, you know, for lack of better words, background music.
Well, Feel the Vibe was in Century 21.
I like that.
Yeah, it was.
No wonder Sound Exchange contacted me.
Yes, see? In the store, and I'm here, wait a minute. I'm shopping and, okay. No, but
Glad I cataloged that.
Yes.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, you know, just as a little side note, I always say that soulful house music is not only good for dancing, but it's great listening music, it's great exercise music, it's great for walking, it's great for, let's say if you have a store, especially avant-garde store, it's certainly, that's another place to play it. So there's so many different applications. You can create line dances from, whatever you want to do, you can do all this stuff with Soulful House. So it's very, very usable and user-friendly music.
You know, a lot of people don't know that they like it until they hear it, because they're not hearing it as prominently as a lot of other stuff. They don't know they like it. Just quick of sidebar, Dawn performed at SOBs once, and it was like one of those open mic night kind of things, and everybody was getting up there, the little skinny guys getting up there with his shirt hanging off like, oh baby, and all that kind of stuff, and all the girls were trying to sound like I'm the next Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. They were all like, you know, and then Dawn got up there and started singing "You Are Why," and all these guys have tried to act like they were so hard, standing back against the wall, so that everybody through the dance floor to the stage.
It was incredible. And
started moving like that, come on now. You surprised, didn't know you liked this.
Listen, I mean, I can go even further because, you know, I sing gospel. I've even introduced that style to the church, and they love it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's gospel energy, so I go to churches and, you know, perform. That's what they want to hear. They call me and say, we want something different. Somebody just texted me and said, I'm tired of like the same old, you know, songs. I want to hear something new. We want to book you. We want something fresh and with some high energy. So I'm now singing gospel house in churches, and they are loving it.
You have a tremendous gospel upbringing. It's been through your whole career. The gospel energy, and you're the queen of gospel energy, and we know that, and we see that everywhere. And my question to you is this: I see doors opening for gospel house because a lot of people never even heard of it, and a lot of times they're singing it and they don't even know it's inspirational, it's gospel. Tell us a little bit about that experience and what you see with that.
I mean, it's here. I mean, house music has always been built on being free and being soulful, you know, and it's very, very spiritual, no matter whether they're singing gospel or singing about, you know, dancing. So it's really easy to incorporate God and inspiration into that kind of music. So for me, that's just kind of where I am. I mean, my foundation is church. I'm a Christian, you know. I still sing in church to this day. I'm a worship leader at my church. Shout out to New Hope Baptist Church, Danbury, Connecticut. And so for me, my mission is to expand and to, you know, like he said, I want to go out and even bigger venues as well and perform the message, you know, because the beat is good, but it's, for me, it's about the message, you know?
Speaking of performing for bigger audiences, you, and I saw the video too, where you performed in front of 200,000, 250,000 people.
Yes.
I mean, talking about rock star status. First of all, I'm glad you came.
Thank you.
How does it feel to, like, you're sitting backstage and your name comes up to say, okay, or they say, okay, Dawn, you're ready to go. You got 250,000 people out here, 10,000, whatever. Tell us about that experience.
That it was really crazy. I normally don't get nervous, but that day I was there and I'm behind the scenes and I'm watching other people, you know, like performing, and I see all those people. And when they call my name, it was really like a blur. But the only thing I could think of while I was walking out on stage was, I hope I don't fall. I had on these high stilettos, and the floor was like black lacquer, and I'm walking out, woo, you know, you can't tell, but in my head I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't fall. But once I got to my marker and I looked out and I saw all those people, it was like the loudest roar I have ever, you know, I just took it, I had to keep singing, but I was taking it all in, like, wow, this is like amazing. Like, I wanted to cry, you know, like, and they were all singing the song, like they knew it. So 250,000 people waving things in their hand, and they're screaming our names, and it was just that's a moment that I could never, like, I just say, okay, God, that was an awesome moment. I'm glad that I was able to experience something so incredible. I mean, my heart just was, man. Wow. I think I cried afterwards, like after I got off the stage and like, you know, after the adrenaline, I sat and I was like, wow.
Question. American audiences versus European audiences, since we're there with that.
Yeah. They love you here, but when you go overseas, it's totally different. Okay. You're treated like you're Whitney or somebody, you know. Wow. And listen, I deserve it. I'm worth it. You know, I know my worth. So, and that's not with a big head. I'm very humble, but they really appreciate you and want to pay you your worth when you are overseas. I mean, the love is just incredible. They just really appreciate the music and the person that you are, and the treatment is just incredible. Not to say that here you get treated bad, but it's just a different feeling. It's just different, and just the way you're treated. The arenas are bigger. You know, the people, because overseas that's mainstream for them. Yeah. House music is mainstream, so. We're, you know, I'm like Beyonce, hey, over in Italy somewhere, because it's mainstream. So yeah. Okay.
Listen, we're getting down to the wire here, unfortunately. Are there any final things or any thoughts that maybe we didn't hit, or something that you want to share or reemphasize?
I can't think of anything. You say well 3 times. You should be DJ Dan. How about that?
Okay. No,
just put a little voice. Well.
Yes. Okay. No, I just want to say I'm excited about completing this album that I've been doing for, for so many years. But it takes time to do an album. Right. So it'll be coming out soon on Honeycomb Music. And I just want people just to look out for that. It's gonna be awesome. Yes.
Okay. Any new releases or anything that you?
Well, the Miss Patty Feel My Fire is out now, and I haven't started thinking about what's next yet, because I'm working on making sure I promote that to the nth degree and get it out there.
That's right.
And I just mostly very glad that you thought of me and Dawn and us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Because it's 2 separate people within a team. Okay. I'm very glad and happy that you thought of us, because having this opportunity definitely spreads more of what we're doing to a wider audience, and it's definitely an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, listen, it's my honor and pleasure. I got to tell you, I've been an admirer. As I said to Dawn, I first heard of Dawn when I heard this voice on DJ Spen, because I've been following him for a while, and I hear this voice, Believe. I'm like, what is that? Believe in Love, right? And I was like, okay. And then what he did though is he took the the music from dance. I mean, Earth Dance. I can't think.
That thing. Dance. Earth Dance.
Anyway, and I said, wow, I'm like really feeling this. And then Higher Heights.
That's something we wrote together.
Let me tell you what. That blew me out the water.
Oh,
I mean, because I've been following you right. I mean, because and if you listen to the words in it, you go, wait a minute, hold it now.
Thank you.
Yes, everything is inspirational. There's always a hint of of wanting to inspire someone. You know.
Yeah.
We were actually just writing something earlier today before we came here. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen.
Yeah.
Put me on.
Oh, we got you.
Okay.
We got you.
Well, folks, we really are down to the end of the wire here. But before we get out of here, can you give us any contact information if you want people to contact you? How would they do that?
Once we start.
Okay.
So I am on Facebook, Dawn Tallman. I have a Facebook page, Dawn Tallman, the Queen of Gospel Energy. I have a Twitter, Dawn Tallman, Instagram, Dawn Tallman, and you can go to my website, dawntallman.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. Y'all can find me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Glenn Thornton. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and there's always slagrecords.com.
All right, folks, like we are.
Oh, and iTunes.
Okay.
And Spotify.
That's right.
We're on iTunes and Spotify. You can go into iTunes and put in Slag Records. You can go into iTunes and put in Glenn Thornton, and once you see me, you'll see Dawn, and it starts snowballing all over the place. So we're there.
And let me just say one little thing about you got to qualify to get to Spotify.
That's
right.
That's
right. So you're on point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great time for me. I'm so honored that you would come down and grace our show here.
Thanks for
like I said, I've been following you for a while, and you've been making great music, and you continue to great music. I can't wait to hear the project that you're doing with Josh Milan. I can't wait to hear the new stuff that you've got going on, and then you guys were writing on the way down here. Maybe you can, a little inspired us a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, we are right at the wire here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out. My name is DJ Dan, and you've been watching Soulful House Nation. Good night and God bless.
Peace.